A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shaykh Muhammed Al-askari, and welcome to the show. Today's topic, morality, a breath of fresh air. And indeed, it is so a breath of fresh air. You'll see that when there is morality practiced, then people can breathe easier. People are more lighter and their feelings and spirits are more brighter. But when there's not morality practiced, then you'll see people are not as full of life. People are a little more down, and people are not vibrant as they would be, as if they would be when there is morality there and practiced. The aim of 124,000 prophets, the messengers sent to earth from Allah, all valued morality, and their aim was to perfect morality. And that being the case, and that being the mission of the messengers, Allah sent the verse down to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam in Surah Al-Qalam. Surah Al-Qalam verse 4, Allah says to the Prophet, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. You have attained a high moral standard. Now, why is Allah highlighting morality? And what is the importance of morality? Well, first, let's go into what the result is when there is not moral value practiced and established. You'll see first, there will be greed, and this isn't in any kind of order. This is just in the list of things that I wrote that I found are in a place when there is no moral value. Greed. Greed, you'll see people greed for the worldly life excessively, and they will have no desire for the eternal life or anything that can come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They'll just want worldly things. Carnal desire, you'll see people seek to just please their stomachs, and instead of looking for Allah's pleasure, they'll seek to please their stomachs. And the next one would be ignorance. Rather than having truthful knowledge and knowledge that is lasting and beneficial, people will have false knowledge. In other words, they'll be ignorant. They'll want worldly knowledge rather than spiritual knowledge, heavenly knowledge, anything that it can actually benefit a person. And they'll have love for the material world. You'll see that they fill their hearts up with love for this temporary world, and love for the eternal world is not there. So at the end, if they die in that state, then you'll see that the separation for something that was in their heart that was only temporary will cause them to enter the hellfire. That separation for having something that was in their heart and they'll never see it again will cause that. There will be spite for a person who doesn't have moral standards, and you'll see that they try to make other people miserable because they're miserable. There will be envy. Envy is in people, and you'll see that none make use of envy except for the disbeliever. That being said, they'll envy people's property and they'll want them not to have it, but instead themselves to have it. And there will be suspicion. So say, for example, somebody loses their car keys or wallet, or they lose their phone. The first thing that they'll be looking towards is somebody else, seeing that perhaps they wanted to sabotage that person. So they went and stole it. They'll look for other people to be at fault, rather than thinking, oh, maybe I misplaced it here. Or they'll start looking for it, and once they exhaust the places and they're at loss, and they're feeling the pressure of maybe I won't find it in the places I thought I will, they'll start looking at other people and thinking maybe this person took it. These attributes are seen in people with low moral standard. Why? Because they are looking towards this temporary world rather than looking towards truthful things in the eternity. They're looking towards temporary things, and they're not looking towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these trivial matters occupy a person of low moral standards, such to the point that they can't even think clearly. Even though they have low moral standards, they'll think of themselves as people with moral standards and other people without moral standards. That is the state of people in delusion. Now, why are high moral standards important? Well, when a person wants to grow spiritually, they can't even start their journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without having high moral standards and without having that fresh air to breathe. Because you'll see, if a person's in an environment where they can't even breathe easy, then they can't even focus on spirituality. They have to satisfy this need first before they can actually go to the spiritual need. And it's like, for example, if somebody has a dirty room and their room is filthy and they do not clean it, then they can't even invite a person over or people over, because if they invite people over, the only thing that will be on the people's mind is that, wow, this is such a dirty place, and they can't even get past that because that's the only thing in their face is filth. Now, when it comes to morals, it is actually very not just important but required. It is essential when it comes to the reappearance of the final Imam. You see that low moral value and low moral standards cause things to have filth and have things that don't belong built up, rather than keeping things taken care of with continuous effort. People don't put in that effort and things start to degrade and decay. When a person has moral standards and moral value, they put in that continuous effort to keep things maintained and established. When it comes to our responsibility for the Imam to come back, our responsibility is to keep unity established, and that takes a continuous effort. When that effort is not there, then we can't even see that the return is close. We have to see the signs as encouragement for us to do things and establish what we need to take care of. But signs, seeing signs, isn't enough. We still have to make that effort. A person can have a dirty room. Seeing a sign that cockroaches are crawling over that room, all over that room now because it's been so long since it's been clean, can encourage somebody to start cleaning up. But except for that's not going to necessarily start them to clean up. That'll just be a sign that they need to clean up. And if that's not enough, then maybe the smell of a filthy room will encourage them to start cleaning up. Maybe that's not enough either. Maybe they gotta go further to having bad health or not being able to perform at work because of the bad health. Maybe they get fired from the job and can't afford their bills, and all that happens because they couldn't take a few minutes of time to clean up a room. Next thing you know, they don't have a room anymore because they got evicted and because they couldn't pay the bills. Maybe that will make them decide to turn up their act. But as you can see, things get worse and worse and worse when a person doesn't have that moral standard and they don't take care of what needs to be taken care of. Yes, seeing signs is an encouraging thing, but it's not going to bring the Mahdi back. Having moral value and doing and fulfilling our obligations and what our responsibilities that are required for the Mahdi to come back is what will bring the Mahdi back. For example, unity. If there's not a community to follow the Imam, then how can an Imam be an Imam without Shia? A leader can't lead without followers. A leader's just walking alone without followers. And that being the case, we have to come together in unity in such a way that not only is unity, but we're loving each other and there's a strong, unbreakable love that we have for each other, such that the Imam has a strong community following him. These conditions must be fulfilled, not just encouragements. You know, a person can get a membership at a gym, but if he doesn't actually work out at the gym, then that membership is just him spending money and maybe just encouragement to work out, but he's got to actually work out to get the results. A person can say they love their family, but until they actually show that, if they're not showing it, then it's just encouraging their love. It's just encouraging them to believe that they love. The condition is now to actually show the love. Words are words. Action is sound. A person can say they're a faithful believer, but when that pressure shows and now they're being tested, then now it's going to show where their gaze shifts. Are they going to look towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or are they going to look towards the creation? The creator or the creation? If they look towards the creator, then yes, they have faith. They're looking towards the one whom they have faith in, and they're asking Allah for help, and even when things are easy, they're still looking towards Allah. That's a person with faith. A person who looks towards creation and asks creation for help and doesn't look to seek Allah's help and intercession, then that being the case, that's a person who has faith in the creation. But you see, a person of faith, even if they're looking towards Ahlul Bayt, is looking towards them because they're closer to Allah. They're still looking towards Allah, but except for they're looking towards Allah through the creation of Ahlul Bayt. Why? Because those are people who are closer to Allah and the representatives of Allah on earth. So that being the case, we have to make the effort. Otherwise, the claim to faith would just be a ruse. Amir al-Mu'mineen Imam Ali alayhi salam has said that there are students, there are teachers, and the rest are barbarians. They're just trash. And with that being the case, in other words, there are people who have knowledge, who teach that knowledge. There's people who learn that knowledge, and truthful knowledge that is. And there's people who don't have any truthful knowledge. They may have false knowledge or no knowledge at all. And those are and they don't even go to seek knowledge or anything to do with true knowledge. Those are the trash. And we are in the end days. And in these end days, the pressure is going to be showing. The piles of trash, the dirtiness of the results of people who are in power, the tyrannical, oppressive leaders of the world who have low moral value, the results of their leadership are going to start showing more and more and more, and eventually people are going to have to smell the dirtiness, the filth that comes from their tyrannical lead. And the more it shows, the more people are going to have to acknowledge it, and we're going to have to band together. They're going to have to put aside their egos and really do something about it, and such that the Imam can say, yes, I'm coming back. Until then, we really have to work on getting ourselves together. But that's what the pressure's for. That's what the encouragement is for. The worse it gets, the more we gotta put elbow grease into scrubbing out the dirtiness. It's like if you're washing something, you gotta put pressure on it. Allah's putting pressure on something in order to purify and separate the impurities from the truth. The pure truth. They're taking the impurities out of it and distinguishing them. And this pressure is going to separate those things. So, for example, if you have a car and it's over 50,000, 100,000 miles, it's been sitting in the shop for a year or more, and that car has collected cobwebs, rust, it has chipped paint, and it is... even animals came and started building houses in it, and it's really just in bad shape. The fluids dried up, all of that. You're going to have to put a lot of effort into cleaning it up. You're going to have to take some parts out and replace them. You're going to have to repair some parts. You're going to have to fix the exterior, interior, clean it out, take the rust off, separate all the impurities from it, so that it can work the way that it's supposed to. In the same way, the truth in our unity has to be restored. Otherwise, it's not going to work the way that it's supposed to. And when that unity is restored, and the people who are with the truth are with the truth, and the people who are not with the truth are separate, then the people who are with the truth are unified and together and working together, then that being the case, then the Imam can say, yes, I'm coming. I'm going to be here soon, inshallah. But in these final days, yes, the encouragement is important. You know, really, we should have enough encouragement as it is. But if not, then we just will have to have more encouragement so that we can see how things are turning out, and we can band together and come together in unity and in love, and take care of what we really need to take care of. But when that moral standard and moral value is there, then the air is easy to breathe. Then we can see that the Mahdi, inshallah, comes and says, yes, I will be there soon. I'm coming. Thank you for watching. Until next time, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you enjoyed the show.